Hello everyone, Trophy Wine Hunter. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's August 2024 and here's my monthly update. So what's new this month? I've done a lot of traveling, so I'm a little bit behind on videos. I'm going to try and continue on my series of experimental videos where I try to do some photos and videos at the front, and then at the end I'll do a tasting, and then maybe I'll do a poll afterwards to see what you prefer, whether you like the old style of videos where I kind of talk for 13 minutes in front of the camera, or you like a little bit of photos and videos interspersed with my live tasting at the end of the video. This month I'm going to be tasting the 1998 Chateau Pavie, 1988 Ducru Bucaillou. That was featured in a wine night that I had with 2 subscribers who came to visit me, and so I'll do a short video on that. I'm doing some wines from Blue Mountain, which is a local BC winery, which I love, and I think it's one of the best value BC wineries out there. So they sent me some of their white wines, which we really need to try and show viewers and subscribers. I hope to get to Masseto this month. I'm not sure I'm going to get to that. I also have scheduled dinners that will showcase Krug, Champagne, and also Vega Sicilia. So I hope to be able to bring you some videos on those also. Every month I talk a little bit about wine, philosophy, and what's going on with me. For those viewers and subscribers who know my channel, I started this during COVID, and at that time there wasn't a lot to do, and some of my early subscribers will remember I was doing like 3 videos a week, and that was basically because I was so bored. I was at home, stuck here, there's no socialization. But I've done that for almost 3 years, and I've kept that up with 2 videos a week. I might take a little bit of a break and cut that down to maybe 1 video a week. We'll see what happens. I've said that before, but I haven't cut it down. It's getting busier. I'm traveling a lot more. It's busier at work. There's more socialization now that COVID is gone. On the other hand, I have so much I want to share with people, because every time I drink a bottle, I want to share that with people and my comments. But you know, we'll see how that goes, because everything in life has to have balance. And again, for me, this has got to be a passion. And if it's not fun anymore, if it becomes work, then you know, that tells me I have to slow it down. So you might see less videos in the next little while until I, you know, have a little bit more time. So a couple of things I really want to talk about this month. One is that I really think, and you'll see that at the end of my video, that the second or associated wines of the Super Tuscans are really spectacular deals right now. And I do believe in the next 5 years or so, those prices are going to go up. And the wines I'm talking about is La Serra Nueva, Guido Alberto, even La Volte or La Defese. These wines, I think, are quite undervalued. Because you can see the Super Tuscans, and by that I mean Ornellaia, Tignanello, Sassicaia, Masseto, those are really producing very, very high scores and really good quality, and that consistency is there. And likewise, their associated wines are also now getting to a point where they have a huge consistent track record over a long period of time, where they're really producing very, very good wines. And so if you look at the pricing, I think the Super Tuscans will have a revival and will continue to appreciate in price. Too much of a discrepancy between them and the first growth Bordeaux or the high-end Bordeaux. That's for people not to recognize the value. And once the Super Tuscans go up, then likewise their associated wines will also go up, because again, there'll be too much of a difference in terms of the pricing. So as an example, you'll see wines like La Volte or La Serra Nueva. La Serra Nueva, you'll see about $75 a bottle. That's really quite a reasonable price, and it's getting consistent ratings in the 93 point rate range. And so really, to me, that represents great value. And this is not just a one-off. It's year after year, you're seeing higher and higher ratings, better and better quality, more and more consistency of those bottles. And so I really think this is the opportunity to go buy now. I know these wines have already gone up in value, but I think they will continue to skyrocket in value because they represent right now very good value. One of the reasons I did this channel was that I wanted to get more information about older wines. And whenever I looked at a wine like 88 De Cru and I went to YouTube I could never get any really good information or current information. And I'm really glad that more people are starting to drink older wines and starting to give a little bit more recognition of that. But at the same time, we want to make sure that we do not treat them like trophies. And I know it's very ironic that my name is Trophy Wine Hunter, but that's kind of a play on words that I chose because in fact, I don't think wines are trophies at all. I think they should be really for consumption or for collecting. And when you're collecting wines, for appreciation, really you don't need to handle them. You don't need to show them off because that's probably the worst thing for them. You should just store them in a facility where you don't see them ever and treat them like any other commodity where you try to touch them as little as possible. So for me, it's really important to remember that wines are not really trophies. This idea that, you have a huge cellar, it's not like an Olympic athlete where we work for something over years and that's how we gain. We just bought the wines. And so we didn't make the wines. I guess you can have some pride in that you picked the correct wines, but it's really not that hard if you have a lot of money. And so that idea of kind of showing off wines as trophies really is not the point. The point is really to drink the wines, cherish them. Of course, you have to age them correctly, but if they're aging correctly, there's no real need to bring them out and show people, from my perspective. And I really want people to continue to look at wines as a consumable good. So when we look at wines, the important thing is to drink them and to taste them and to compare notes. And I really want to get away from this idea of, wow, this is a $5,000 bottle. In my mind, it's totally irrelevant. A couple of reasons. One is that you don't know how much someone paid for wine. Someone could have stored the wine many years ago and bought it many years ago. So the actual market value right now doesn't really matter because they might have paid less or more for that. Depends also on their jurisdiction. Some people, are in jurisdictions where the taxes are heavier, so you pay more. So to me, that's irrelevant. And the other thing is that for most people who drink trophy wines, it's not really about the money, it's about the passion. And so let's say this bottle is $1,000. Well, if you don't have the means to be able to do that, it's irrelevant how much it is, right? Because you're not going to buy it anyways. If you do have the means to buy a wine of that level, then again, the cost becomes irrelevant too, because it's no longer about buying the wine and treating it like a trophy, it's about drinking it. So that's what I hope that people just keep that in mind, that when we drink wines, it's not a bragging right. It doesn't mean I'm better than anyone else, doesn't mean I'm more successful than anyone else. I feel every time when I drink a wine of these magnitudes that it's a blessing, it's a real honor to be able to do that. And I try to honor these bottles by taking the time to get to know a little bit more about them, try and study them a little bit more, and really not taking them for granted. And so that's kind of my approach and philosophy to wines. And I hope that, everyone kind of takes that, because, it's not about the hype, trophy, you drink so many great wines. I'm really fortunate, honestly. But a lot of people are fortunate drinking $40 wines and having a great life and having great friends around them. So it doesn't mean I have a better life than anyone else. I'm really fortunate, I think, but doesn't mean that I'm happier than anyone else. Doesn't mean I'm more successful than anyone else. That idea, I really want to downplay that and just, we as wine drinkers or wine lovers, we just drink. It's not about how much, how successful you are, how many bottles you have. Nothing of that matters. It's, to me, all that matters is, people like to drink, they have a passion for drinking, and they're really nice people. That's, to me, very simplistically, what wine drinking is about. The next part of this video is for my viewers and subscribers in BC, what's hot, what I like, what's on sale. Please continue to follow my channel, subscribe, and again, I love the comments and the interaction I have with my viewers and subscribers. Cheers. Here are my recommendations for the month of August 2025. The first one is the Robert Mondavi 2019 Cabernet Sauvignon from Napa Valley, reduced from $59.99 to $49.99. You can't even get this on the winery's website. The actual winery, if you were in the States, you'd be buying the 2021 vintage at $55 US. So I think it's a pretty good deal that you're getting two years of aging. And that's one of the good things about BC liquor stores. We actually get aged wines. So they're not too tannic. This is a blend of 80% Cabernet Sauvignon, 11% Merlot, 5% Petit Verdot, 3% Cabernet Franc, and 1% Malbec. And it comes from all the different parts of the Napa Valley. And it's, very decent wine for under $50 right now. And again, you're not even gonna get this deal if you were in the States buying this wine. So I think it's a really good value. In BC, we often get sales on the same groups of wines. This is kind of neat. This is Domaine J de Villebois 2022 Sancerre. So this is a wine from the Loire Valley, and because it's Sancerre and it is Old World, they expect you to know that it is going to be Sauvignon Blanc as the grape. But it's not the Sauvignon Blanc stylistically that we see in New Zealand. It's a little bit more flinty, a bit more smoky, a little bit heavier. And so it's just like a good compare and contrast. Villebois is basically a Sancerre specialist or a Sauvignon Blanc specialist. So it's really a neat wine to have. And I think get a little price discount this month is $49.99 to $45.99. But I would take a look at this wine just because it's a little bit different than if you were drinking Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand. As I discussed in my video, I'm really high on the associated wines of the Super Tuscans. I really think they're undervalued. This is one of them. This is Le Volte 2021, priced from $34.99 to $30.99. I don't know how you can pass up on this wine for $30. This is, I guess, considered the third wine of Ornellaia, but really it isn't. It's just the second. I think it's just an associated wine because it's different grape varietals from the kind of true second wine, which is the Serra Nuova. So I think it's Merlot, Sangiovese, and Cabernet. I'm not sure if I know the exact blend for this vintage, but normally it's 50% Merlot, 30% Sangiovese, 20% Cabernet Sauvignon. It's aged 10 months in barrels, barriques that are previously used for Ornellaia, and then partly in concrete tanks. So it's really meant to be an early drinking wine, but it can age for 5 to 8 years. And the quality is there. I think in the last 10 vintages, they haven't had a Wine Spectator score under 87 points. And the last 3 vintages, all over 90 points. This wine is just going to get better and better. So I don't know how you can not take a wine that's $30, drinking nicely now, will drink in the future. Just great wine to pair with anything, not going to embarrass you. I just think the world of this wine. And at $30, I think it's too cheap. I think it's only going to go up in price. I met one of my subscribers, Max, at the liquor store, and I feel bad because he kind of said, well, I'm into Oregon or American Pinots, and I kind of poo-pahd the idea. I'm sorry if I did that, but my point was really just it's difficult to kind of start off with the American Pinots and then stylistically change to Burgundy. The understanding gets difficult because it's so intense, the Pinot from America. And even if they try to make it in Burgundy style, it's still heavier than most Burgundy wines. So that was just my point. But anyways, I thought I didn't see him again in the store, so I thought I'd kind of give him a shout out here and give him a couple recommendations. The first one is Domaine Drouhin. This is their 2022 from Oregon, from Dundee Hills. And I think arguably, I actually think Domaine Drouhin's wines out of Oregon are better in terms of the price per quality ratio than their Burgundy wines. I know they started off in Burgundy, but I think they actually make really, really good, like top end Oregon Pinots. This is really stylistically perfect Oregon Pinot. I've had this many times before. It's got the heaviness and the boldness and also the fruitiness of Pinot. This is another producer that I really like. I like stylistically their wines. This is Soko Blozer's 2021 from the Willamette Valley. They've been producing wines since 1971. You get a little discount this month. I think it's $49.99 to $44.99. And so what's the difference between Oregon Pinot and Burgundy Pinot? From my perspective, Oregon Pinot is a little bit heavier. It's got a little bit more earthiness probably, but in my mind, if you have the same amount, like if you have a $50 Oregon Pinot and a $15 Burgundy, you probably have a better Oregon wine. I just find it stylistically a little bit heavier in terms of the taste profile, and the Burgundy wines are, in general, as you get to the higher end stuff, it's a little bit more subtle and discreet, and it's got a little bit more oak finesse to it. Whereas the Oregon wines are a little bit more fruity and a little bit more intense in terms of the flavor profile, which is why people enjoy them in that style. Domaine Drouhin and Soko Blozer are about 92, 93 point rating wines. I think a slight step below would be the King Estate Pinot Noir, which is featured here. Again, similar price, and maybe you want to try all three of them together to try to taste the taste profile. But I think I would say I would favor the first two a little bit more because I like the intensity of flavor a little bit more. I think it's a little more stylistically Oregon Pinot. But King Estates also makes a very good Pinot, so I like this wine also. This is another wine that I don't know how you can pass up in terms of the price. I featured it before, it's on sale again, and I think you just keep on enjoying the discount while you can. It's the Escudo Rujo 2021 Carmenere. It's from Chile. It's produced by the Baron Philippe de Rothschild family. It's reduced from $18.99 to $15.99. So with tax, it's under a $20 wine. Carmenere is the indigenous grape of Chile. So this is what you're drinking for Chilean wines. You're getting a very, very good quality wine, 90 points Wine Spectator for under $20. I don't know how you don't drink this. This is going to be just interesting. It's substantial. It's highly rated. It's inexpensive. Again, I don't know how you pass on this wine. It's just, now you're not going to have this every year from this producer. So you really have to take advantage of this vintage. And this was another wine that I recommended to a subscriber I saw at the liquor store, Igor. He was a very knowledgeable guy who drank a lot of Italian wines. And I just kind of told him to buy this wine. I mean, it's boringly good. La Serra Nueve, this is the 2021 vintage. This is the true second wine of Ornellaia. This vintage is 50% Merlot, 28% Cabernet Sauvignon, 11% Cabernet Franc, 11% Petit Verdot. Super Tuscan blend with no Italian grape varietals in this. 93 points Wine Spectator. And remember my rule when I talked about first growth wines and second wines, if it's any more than 1/3 of the price, the difference between the first wine and the second wine, then it's a good deal. So this price on this wine is $79 or $80. The 2021 Ornellaia has not been released, the price in BC. The 2019 was, I think, $270. The 2020 was $290. So the 2021 is going up. That means this wine is underpriced. It will continue to be underpriced. I'm telling you, this is just such a bankable wine. If I could buy wine, because I'm not buying wine this year, I'd buy a case of this right now, because this wine is, you're going to drink for 10, 15 years. You're going to see the price appreciate. It is a really, really good wine. Can't believe it's still $80. It's going to go up. Mark my words. This is going to be well over $150 in 5 or 10 years' time. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Until next time, happy drinking.